That number has 22 zeros. It doesn't represent the GDP of every country on Earth. It doesn't represent every dollar ever printed, every stock ever traded, every ounce of gold ever mined. It represents one single object, floating in space. Right now, imagine bringing it home. Overnight, every billionaire on the planet becomes pocket change. Jeff Bezos, rounding error. Every central bank on Earth, irrelevant. The concept of wealth, the thing human civilization has organized wars, empires, and entire political systems around, evaporates. Its name is 16 Psyche, and it might be the most dangerous object in the solar system, not because of what it could do to our planet physically, but because of what it would do to our civilization economically. Here's what 16 Psyche actually is. Roughly 280 kilometers across, orbiting in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Nothing unusual so far. But look closer. Scientists believe 16 Psyche isn't a normal asteroid. It's a core. Billions of years ago, there was a protoplanet, an embryonic world trying to become something. Then something else hit it, hard. The impact stripped away its rocky mantle and silicate crust, leaving only the dense metallic interior. What remained drifted into the asteroid belt and has been sitting there ever since. A dead planet's heart, still beating in the cold. What's inside? Iron and nickel make up the bulk, but threaded through them, gold, platinum, cobalt, rare metals that take billions of years for planetary geology to concentrate into one place. On Earth, most of that same metal sank to our planet's core billions of years ago. Completely inaccessible. We've been scratching at surface deposits ever since, fighting wars over scraps. Psyche has the whole supply. NASA's estimate puts Psyche's total value at around $10,000 quadrillion. Let's put that in context. The entire global economy, every product sold, every service rendered, every paycheck cashed across all of human civilization in 2024 totals roughly $100 trillion. Psyche is worth 100 million times that. Here's the problem. Our entire economic system, capitalism, commodity markets, currency valuation, is built on one invisible assumption: scarcity. Things have value because they're rare. Gold costs what it costs because there's a limited supply and high demand. The same logic applies to oil, platinum, lithium, every commodity that drives modern civilization. Psyche doesn't care about scarcity. Psyche erases scarcity. Bring even a fraction of its iron to Earth, and the steel industry collapses overnight. Bring its platinum deposits and the clean energy sector, which depends on platinum for hydrogen fuel cells, gets rewritten entirely. It's not a resource, it's a weapon. And here's the part nobody in the financial press wants to talk about. Someone is already trying to reach it. In 2017, NASA selected the Psyche mission. The plan: launch a robotic spacecraft to orbit asteroid 16 Psyche, map it, study it, and answer one fundamental question. Is this thing really what we think it is? The mission cost? Over $1 billion. The original launch date? August 2022. It didn't launch in August 2022. And the reason it didn't is one of the most embarrassing episodes in recent NASA history. Just weeks before the planned launch, engineers discovered a critical problem. The spacecraft's flight software, the code that would guide it 2.2 billion miles through deep space, hadn't been properly tested in the mission's operating environment. Basic verification skipped. An independent review board tore into NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Poor communication, management failures, a team stretched too thin across too many concurrent missions. They didn't just miss a deadline. They burned $43 million in extra costs because of the delay. Taxpayer dollars? Gone because someone didn't run the tests. The mission eventually launched in October 2023. 14 months late. Over budget? Bruised. It's now traveling toward the asteroid belt using solar electric propulsion, the most efficient drive system we can build. And it won't arrive at Psyche until 2029. 6 years of travel, 1 year of orbital study. And then what? This is where it gets uncomfortable. NASA is a scientific agency. Its Psyche mission is about knowledge. It will map the asteroid, analyze the composition, and publish the data. Published data, open to anyone. And while NASA was busy dealing with software failures and congressional budget hearings, a different class of actor was quietly preparing for what comes next. Elon Musk has never publicly announced a plan to mine 16 Psyche. He doesn't need to. SpaceX is developing Starship, a fully reusable heavy-lift rocket that could theoretically change the economics of getting to deep space entirely. Every dollar SpaceX shaves off launch costs is a dollar that makes asteroid mining less science fiction and more business plan. Astroforge launched its first spacecraft in 2023, not to Psyche, but toward the same class of metallic asteroid. They're practicing, and they're not alone. Luxembourg passed laws allowing companies to own resources mined in space. The US passed the Space Act in 2015, giving American citizens the legal right to own extracted asteroid materials. No one is waiting for a UN treaty. The race has already started. Most people just haven't noticed yet. But here's what keeps economists up at night. It's not the technology. The technology is solvable, expensive, slow, and brutally difficult, but solvable. What isn't solvable is what happens to the global economy if someone actually succeeds. Let's run the scenario. It's 2045. A private company, backed by a sovereign wealth fund, or a government, or both, successfully mines and returns 1% of 16 Psyche's iron. Just 1%. That's still more iron than humanity has ever extracted in its entire recorded history. The iron price doesn't just fall, it obliterates. Steel becomes trivially cheap. Infrastructure costs crater. That sounds good. But think about what happens to the countries whose entire economies depend on mineral exports. Australia, Brazil, South Africa, Russia. Their largest industries don't just lose market share. They become structurally unviable overnight. We've seen this pattern before. When Saudi Arabia flooded the oil market in 2014, US shale companies went bankrupt by the hundreds. Entire economies contracted. The difference? Oil is replenishable in supply terms. Asteroid metal isn't a strategic dump. It's a permanent rewriting of the commodity order. Now add geopolitics. China controls roughly 60% of the world's rare earth element processing. That leverage, that single structural advantage, has shaped global supply chains, trade agreements, and defense policy for 2 decades. Asteroid mining doesn't just challenge that, it eliminates it. And China knows this better than anyone. The Chinese National Space Administration has its own asteroid mission programs. They have been deliberate, patient, methodical. This isn't hypothetical competition. This is the next Cold War, dressed up in orbital mechanics and spectral analysis. In the original Cold War, the prize was ideological dominance and nuclear deterrence. In this one, the prize is physical control of the solar system's mineral wealth. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 says no country can claim an asteroid, but it says nothing about owning what you extract from it. That's not a loophole, that's a canyon. And every major space power is quietly driving a truck through it. Here's the darkest version of this scenario. Imagine a single corporation, or a single nation state, achieves first mover advantage in deep space mining. Not just Psyche. All of it. The belt. They don't need to bring everything back to Earth. They don't even need to sell it. They just need to threaten to. Flood the market whenever a competitor's economy needs destabilizing. withhold supply when leverage is needed, control the off-world supply chain the way OPEC once controlled oil. The ultimate monopoly isn't a tech platform. It's not a social network or a payment processor. It's a company that owns access to resources so abundant, they make Earth's reserves look like a parking meter collection. And unlike every monopoly that came before it, the East India Company, Standard Oil, the railroad barons, this one operates where no government can regulate, no court can enforce, and no protest can reach. We've always told ourselves that space exploration is about discovery, about knowledge, about the better angels of our nature reaching outward. Maybe, or maybe it's the same story we've always told, about the new world, about the oil fields, about the digital frontier. Right before someone fenced it off. Here's the thing about 16 Psyche. It doesn't care. It has been orbiting the sun since before Earth had oceans. It will still be there when whatever civilization comes after ours starts looking up at the sky. The asteroid isn't the threat. We are. Every time humanity has discovered a new source of concentrated wealth, spices, silver, oil, data, we've followed the same script. Discovery, excitement, exploration, colonization, exploitation, conflict. The names change, the pattern doesn't. So the real question isn't whether we can reach 16 Psyche, it's whether we've grown up enough to decide what reaching it actually means. Can international law evolve fast enough to govern what private capital is already attempting? Can the nations that once nearly destroyed each other in a nuclear standoff somehow cooperate on a resource prize orders of magnitude larger? Or will the asteroid belt become what every frontier before it became? A place where the powerful wrote the rules before anyone else arrived to object. The Psyche spacecraft arrives in 2029. By then, the legal frameworks, the private mining licenses, the bilateral agreements between space powers, or the conspicuous absence of them, will already be taking shape. The decisions being made right now, in government offices and corporate boardrooms and quiet treaty negotiations, will determine whether the space economy is humanity's greatest shared project, or its next great heist. This is the kind of story that won't make the front page until it's too late to have the conversation about it. That's exactly why Mach 25 exists. If you want to understand the economics, the technology, and the geopolitics driving the next chapter of human civilization, before it becomes conventional wisdom, subscribe to Mach 25. Hit the bell. Because the stories worth knowing about rarely announce themselves politely.